So for the last week, I was doing this.
Just go. I
Okay.
can't stop like that.
All right.
Now I'm back to reality. Now this is just on the Drudge Report. This is just this section right here. Route and stock futures trigger trading curbs. 10-year treasury below 0.5%. Anxiety grips companies across the world. We're past the point of containment. Ted Cruz self-quarantines after contact at CPAC. Close call threatens to upend Trump's routine. Era of social distancing begins. Thank God. Inside administration, debate raised over what to tell the public. Federal agencies prep for disruptions. Cops in hazmat suits enforce lockdown in Spain. Israel to draft teens in army to fight spread. Most daunting virus in a half century. San Fran bans non-essential public gatherings at city facilities. Shoppers throw punches over toilet paper. Gotta love mass panic. Women sparks panic on plane by deliberating coughing on crew. That ain't cool regardless of what conditions was going on right now. Airport screeners health workers plagued by fear and anger. Marine and at Virginia base test positives. We'll check that one out. Italy restricts quarantine or a quarter of the population. Travel chaos. Oil plunge. Trump rallies on pause. Ooh. Interesting. So let's go back to this one here. At Harvard Forum, 3 who know warn of most daunting virus in half century. Yeah. If you want to take care of it, this is statnews.com from Harvard Forum experts. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this article. Planning ahead. Kayam said the organizers of large events, including presidential nominating conventions and the Olympics, need to start coming up with plan Bs. The decisions about whether to actually go with alternate plans can't be made yet, but it is crucial to start developing contingencies. Quoting here, I cannot tell you where we're going to activate and what it's going to impact, but if the parties are not thinking about how you pick your nominee in a different manner, shame on them. Sounds like a liberal to me. We don't know where we will be at this moment, or at that moment. I think we need to be comfortable making decisions in week allotments. After the event, Harvard officials said they were considering canceling a full roster of Kennedy School forums for next week, making Fridays potentially their last public event at the Kennedy School for quite a while. Okay, first positive test for coronavirus confirmed in Virginia. A U.S. Army Marine at Fort Belvoir in Virginia, which is just, if I remember correctly, right outside D.C., has tested positive for COVID-19, coronavirus, becoming the state's first case of coronavirus. The Department of Defense announced in a tweet late Saturday. Chief Pentagon spokesman Jonathan Hoffman tweeted, the Marine recently returned from overseas where he was on official business. Defense Secretary Mark Esper and the White House have been briefed. A Defense Department official told Associated Press on background prior to public announcement that is the first reported U.S. military case inside the country. Oh, by the way, what I learned about recently, too, is that service members over in South Korea aren't allowed to leave, or you're not allowed to go to Korea. So what that tells me is that all permanent change of stations going to Korea and or coming back have been put on hold until May. Let's be honest, it's going to be a lot longer than that. So if you're in South Korea, better learn to love kimchi, I guess. DC also confirmed that the first case Saturday with Mayor Muriel Bowser announcing at a news conference that a 50-year-old district resident reported feeling ill in late February. Maryland recorded these 3 cases this week. Chinese business leaders leave lights on at work to fake country's recovery from coronavirus so they don't fall foul of officials. Imagine that, where you have Chinese state officials caring more about the optics of what's going on than what is actually going on. Whistleblowers claim Chinese business leaders are faking workforce recovery. Companies are leaving machinery and lights on because officials are checking power consumption levels. Right. Zhejiang province has restored 98.6% of its pre-coronavirus work capacity. They would rather small bit of money on power than irritate local officials. Let's get to the nuts and bolts of this article real quick here. Quarantined residents in a town were captured on camera yelling fake, fake at a group of Beijing officials as they said authorities had neglected their daily needs. As you can see, one of those quarantine buildings, they're handing a bag of broccoli, apparently. The footage captured a government team led by Sun Shulan, the Chinese vice premier, touring the isolated complex of Qingshan district of Wuhan yesterday. The officials were there to examine the anti-coronavirus operations carried out by local authorities, according to Chinese media. The compound residents can be heard in a video shouting people are praying for overpriced food and it's all fake from their flat windows. Interesting. And the more important one here, I can't get too much of it, so I'm going to see what I can do here. Italy locks down much of country's north over coronavirus. The restrictions affect Milan and the regions that serve as Italy's economic engine and are the most sweeping measures outside of China. Whew. Rome, Italy's government, early Sunday took the extraordinary step of locking down much of the country's north, restricting movement for about a quarter of the Italian population in regions that serve as the country's economic engine. The move represents the most sweeping effort outside China to stop the spread of coronavirus and is tantamount to sacrificing the Italian economy in the short term to save it from the ravages of the virus in the long term. You know what? The way I look at it right now is you might as well let this thing just burn through. I mean, I don't know. We're basically neglecting the inevitable. What's going on here? Viruses will sweep through and just kind of infect. And you might as well. And unfortunately, like I've said in previous videos, is that this virus, or even the flu virus, affects the elderly more often than not. Why? Well, the elderly more often than not have pre-existing conditions such as diabetes, cancer, pneumonia, etc. So when this virus gets them, it depletes their immune system even more, and it pretty much kills them. So, quoting from the Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, said, "We are facing an emergency. Duh. A national emergency. Duh again." He called the measures very rigorous but necessary to contain the contagion and ease the burden on Italy's strained healthcare system. I think that's exactly what they're doing. Is that they're trying not to strain the system. We all know that this virus is going to burn through the world, essentially. So, if you haven't got it yet, thank God. So, thing is that it's gonna get throughout the world. I'm not gonna make a prediction on who and what and how many people die, but already I think it's about 2,500 people have died from this so far. So let's just continue on here. It says this is the moment of self-responsibility, which is true. Wash your damn hands. Stop licking poles, I guess. Questions immediately emerged about exactly how the new rules would be enforced, especially as local leaders in the north complained that they had been given little notice or say in the decision making. Exactly. So here's the map of all of this right here. I don't know how do you. So the travel bans will prevent the free movement of roughly 16 million people. By Saturday, Italy had more than 5,800 cases of the virus, 233 of them fatal, with increases of almost 800 infections and 49 deaths from the day before. Only China has had more people die from contracting the virus. As the government met late on Saturday, ministers insisted the proposal was merely a draft. Confusion spread about whether officials would actually block travel or recommend against it. Right. As soon as the draft became public on Saturday evening, shocked regional and municipal leaders in the north argued that they were caught off guard and implementing the rules so suddenly would be impossible. If you know anything about northern Italy, which I do, it's a pretty big area. I don't know how you're going to stop 16 million people from moving. Kind of impossible. Mr. Conte also announced early Sunday morning that the government would extend less restrictive measures previously imposed in the north, such as closings of museums, movie theaters, discos, and betting parlors to the rest of the country. He said conferences of doctors and other medical professionals would be absolutely banned. We can't allow it. Critics of the government argue the late-night meeting reflected a lack of coordination with regional officials and insufficient communication with the Italian people, which had caused confusion amid the crisis. Again, the government, so automatically they're wrong to everyone. So, yeah, they got caught off guard here. Mr. Conte said the national government's regional partners had been consulted, and the authorities would need to improve special travel permissions in or out of the designated areas for family or work emergencies. He said the police would stop travelers to check on their reasons for leaving the lockdown areas. Wow. Let's read this here. In Navigili area of Milan, known from its bars and nightlife, people who were out drinking on Saturday night lamented martial laws while anxiously checking their phones for updates. Again, key word here, martial law. That may come into play even in this country, the United States, which it might. So buckle up, Buttercup. Quoting from our Lorenzo Stella, we are enjoying our last moments of freedom or life. Some worried that they will lose their jobs or romantic partners outside Milan. Probably. Others were concerned that the entire economic engine of Italy would stall. More likely. Leaked reports of draft late Saturday night infuriated Mr. Conte and prompted not only panic in Milan, but also resistance and anger from mayors and regional presidents across the political spectrum in the northern areas. Wow, look at that empty road leading to the Milan airport. Jeez. So what do we say about this? We already know what's going on here. It's bad. Again, as I said before, panicking is not going to help anything. It won't help your health. It won't help anybody's health. Stop punching people who are trying to get toilet paper. Try to be orderly as possible. Again, do we really want the government involved in needling in our lives more than they already are? Well, tough luck. It's going to happen. Again, I have to reiterate this as much as possible. Do not panic. Make sure you have some food reserves or something that can be on a shelf for a long time. Whether it is purchasing storable food, cans of tuna, rice, whatever. But the point is that panicking, like I said, isn't going to help anyone, and it won't help you. So, in turns, best advice I can give anybody, wash your damn hands.